Have you ever noticed that no matter how often you clean, a fresh layer of dust just sort of appears on your furniture almost
Oh,
instantly?
yeah. It's incredibly frustrating for homeowners.
Right, like you spend your entire Saturday wiping down the living room, and by Monday, I mean, it looks like you didn't even touch it.
It really does.
Or, maybe you or your family are dealing with these unexplained, lingering indoor allergies, the kind where you wake up with a scratchy throat, but
But the moment you step outside to go to work, you suddenly feel totally fine.
exactly, you step out and you're cured. Or perhaps there's a faint, musty smell in your hallway that you just can't seem to track down no matter how many candles you burn.
Which is a huge red flag, by the way.
Yeah, and before you blame your cleaning supplies or, the local pollen count, consider this.
Hmm.
The average HVAC system cycles about 1.5 million cubic feet of air through your house every single day.
It's a staggering volume of air when you actually quantify it.
It's massive. And if your ductwork is compromised, you are essentially filtering 1.5 million cubic feet of contaminated air directly into your lungs.
Right. And yet, because the ductwork is, hidden behind drywall or tucked way up in the attic, we tend to operate on this principle of out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, 100%.
We completely ignore the mechanical system delivering our oxygen until the warning signs are just blaring at us.
Which is the exact mission of today's deep dive. We're calling this one Top Signs You Need Professional Residential Air Duct Cleaning in Atlanta. We are going to uncover what is actually circulating inside the lungs of your home, basically.
And it's not pretty.
No, it's really not.
Hi.
We'll also get into why Atlanta's specific climate turns a minor dust problem into a literal biological hazard, and most importantly, how to permanently solve it.
Because you definitely can solve it.
Right. And to figure out how to actually fix this without ruining your house, we've partnered with the specialists at Hurricane Group Cumming. They are Atlanta's leading experts in HVAC hygiene and property restoration.
They really are the best in the business.
Yeah, and they have over 800 five-star reviews to prove it. You can give them a call right now at 404-999-1605. We'll give you more of their details a bit later, but first, let's talk about what is actually growing inside your walls.
Good place to start.
So, how do we recognize the distress signals a house is sending us?
Well, the symptoms usually start small, but they scale up really rapidly. The most obvious physical symptom of a struggling system is that excessive dust you mentioned earlier.
The stuff that comes back the next day.
Exactly. But it's not just random dust.
Yeah.
It's the pattern of the dust.
What do you mean by the pattern?
So when you see rapid buildup, specifically around your vent covers or like on the ceiling fan blades.
Oh, the fuzzy fan blades. I hate that.
Right. Or on the furniture immediately below those vents. That specifically indicates your system has fundamentally stopped filtering. The internal ductwork has basically reached its holding capacity.
Wow. So it essentially transitions from an air delivery system into a reverse vacuum.
That is a highly accurate way to look at it. The dust is no longer settling in the filter. It's being actively propelled and redistributed throughout your living space by the blower motor.
That is so gross.
It is. And that redistribution leads directly to the next major warning sign, which is the physical toll it takes on the human body.
The allergies.
Right. We see people developing shortness of breath, chronic coughing, burning or itchy eyes, and even skin irritation that flares up indoors.
I've always wondered about that. Like, if someone only feels sick inside their own house, but they feel completely fine at the office or the grocery store.
The house has to be the variable.
Exactly. But what is actually causing the reaction? Is it literally just dirt making us cough?
Well, no, it's rarely just dirt. And this actually brings us to the third warning sign, which is odors.
The musty smell.
Yes. If you detect a musty, damp smell coming directly from the supply vents when the AC kicks on, you aren't just smelling stale air. You're smelling volatile organic compounds, or VOCs.
Wait, VOCs? Like chemicals?
Biological chemicals, essentially. These are the gases released by active mold and microbial growth. You are literally smelling the off-gassing of a living biological colony inside your ductwork.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Because, I buy those expensive pleated air filters at the hardware store, right? And I change them every single month. So if I have a filter catching the dust, why is there mold and dirt after the filter? Is the filter a scam, or is the dust coming from somewhere else?
No, the filter isn't a scam. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do, but it is only the first line of defense. Standard filters are really just designed to catch large particulate matter.
Like dog hair.
Exactly. Visible pet hair, Large dust clumps, things that would immediately destroy the blower motor if they got sucked in,
Yeah.
but they cannot catch microscopic particles.
Oh, so the really tiny stuff just slides right through.
Right. Fine pollen, aerosolized grease from cooking, microscopic dander. Over the years, those tiny particles bypass the filter and settle on the interior walls of the miles of tubing throughout your house.
So that layer of microscopic dust is what's making us cough.
Yes.
But surely that dust is also, like, physically choking the machinery itself, right? If it's building up like that.
Oh, it's severely choking the machinery. Think about your home's ductwork like human arteries, and this fine dust accumulation is high cholesterol.
Oh, wow. That's a scary visual.
It acts exactly like plaque on the artery walls. As that layer grows, the passage gets narrower and narrower.
So the blower motor, which is basically the heart of the house, has to pump twice as hard just to push the same amount of air through.
Exactly, and that creates a massive mechanical and financial strain. A major sign of dirty ducts is weak airflow. If you put your hand up to a vent and you barely feel a breeze, the air is fighting massive resistance.
Because the tube is half clogged.
Right. So the blower motor has to run longer and draw significantly more amperage to overcome that resistance.
Which means your power bill goes up.
Every single month. That increased electrical current translates directly into higher energy bills.
Not to mention the lifestyle factors that accelerate all this, Like if you have a golden retriever or if you recently had your kitchen remodeled and drywall was sanded.
Oh, drywall dust is the worst.
Right. That fine construction powder just gets sucked right past the filter. The system is basically just swallowing all of it.
Construction dust is particularly brutal because of its chalky consistency. It coats everything.
So we've got the symptoms, the excessive dust, the indoor allergies, the odors, the weak airflow, and the high bills.
But knowing the symptoms is really only half the battle.
Yeah.
To understand why this progression happens so aggressively, we have to look outside at the local environment.
Oh, right.
Because everything we just discussed is magnified tenfold if you live in metro Atlanta.
The Atlanta factor. Okay, this is where the physics of the house meet the climate. Why is Atlanta so notoriously tough on our air ducts?
It really comes down to thermodynamics and a very specific atmospheric cocktail. Metro Atlanta has average summer humidity levels that frequently exceed 70%.
It's like a swamp out there sometimes.
It really is. And you combine that high humidity with some of the highest seasonal pollen counts in North America. Now, keep in mind that most of your ductwork runs through unconditioned spaces.
Like baking hot attics or damp crawl spaces.
Exactly.
But wait, I'm picturing ducts as these dry, insulated metal tubes. How does humidity outside the duct affect the air inside the duct?
It's a classic condensation problem. You have 60-degree air conditioning running inside a thin metal tube, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that tube is sitting in a 120-degree attic with high humidity.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, no matter how well insulated the duct is, that extreme temperature differential causes microscopic condensation to form on the interior walls of the ductwork.
So the metal actually sweats on the inside.
Yes, the interior gets physically damp. Now, introduce the microscopic dust, the pet dander, and that heavy yellow Georgia pollen that slipped past your air filter.
Oh, gross.
When that organic matter hits the damp walls, it doesn't just create a dry, dusty surface that blows away. It forms a thick, sticky, moisture-trapping layer that industry professionals literally refer to as Georgia sludge.
Sludge glued to the inside of the walls.
That's right to it.
That is horrifying. And I'm assuming pet dander is essentially protein and pollen is organic matter, so this wet sludge is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for mold.
It is the ultimate biological breeding ground. Mold spores naturally exist in the air everywhere, but they need food and moisture to colonize.
And the sludge provides both.
Exactly. The Georgia sludge provides the perfect food source, and the dark, damp duct provides the perfect environment. The mold feeds on the sludge, multiplies, and then the blower motor blasts those new spores directly into your living room.
Okay, this raises a massive red flag for me.
Look at that.
If this sticky, wet sludge is practically cemented to the walls of the ducts deep inside my house, how could a vacuum possibly get it out?
It's a great question.
Because, wouldn't trying to scrape or clean that just blast a massive toxic cloud of mold and dust straight through the vents and into my house? I feel like I'd be cross-contaminating my entire living room.
Your fear is entirely justified, and it's the exact reason why DIY duct cleaning or, hiring a guy who just shows up with a standard shop vac is completely impossible and frankly dangerous.
So how do you actually do it?
A true professional relies on certified engineering and physics to solve the problem safely. Specifically, they use methods developed by IICRC certified specialists.
Let's pause right there because I see that acronym a lot. What does IICRC actually stand for, and why does that certification matter so much?
It stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification. It is the global gold standard for structural hygiene and remediation.
Okay.
Someone with this certification isn't just a cleaner. They're trained in the physics of airflow, moisture control, and microbial containment. They follow a rigorous, four-step medical-grade protocol to ensure zero cross-contamination.
So walk us through this protocol. How do they actually extract the sludge without ruining my house?
Step 1 is the diagnostic inspection. They don't just guess where the problem is. A technician uses fiber optic cameras, running them deep into the ductwork to map out the mold hotspots.
That makes total sense. You need to map the arteries before you go in.
Right. They identify the heaviest debris accumulations and ensure there are no physical tears in the flexible tubing before they start.
And what's step 2?
Step 2 addresses your specific fear about cross-contamination. It's called negative pressure isolation.
Negative pressure isolation. Okay.
The technician goes through the home and completely seals every single supply and return vent with specialized adhesive covers. Then, they hook a massive, truck-mounted high-power vacuum directly to the main trunk line of the HVAC system, usually right next to the furnace.
And what does negative pressure actually mean in this context? Like, how does that stop the dust from blowing into my house?
It's pure physics. When they turn that truck-mounted vacuum on, it pulls thousands of cubic feet of air per minute. It creates a vacuum so strong that the air pressure inside the ductwork drops significantly below the ambient air pressure of your living room.
Oh, I see.
Because physics dictates that air moves from high pressure to low pressure, air can only flow into the ductwork. It is physically impossible for a single speck of dust to escape out of a vent into your house.
Wow. So even if a seal breaks or if there's a loose vent, the room air rushes in rather than the duct air rushing out. That is brilliant engineering.
Precisely. It contains everything. Once that negative pressure is established, we move to step 3. Mechanical scrubbing.
To get the sludge off.
Yes. The technician inserts specialized pneumatic agitation tools into the ductwork. Think of them like high-speed, compressed air whips and rotating soft bristled brushes.
Okay, so they're physically knocking it loose.
Right. These tools travel down the ducts, physically whipping and scrubbing the interior walls, violently stripping away that stubborn Georgia sludge.
And because the negative pressure is constantly pulling, the millisecond that sludge is knocked loose from the metal wall, it gets violently sucked down the trunk line and out to the truck outside.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
never even has a chance to settle. It is instantly extracted.
That is so satisfying to picture.
It really is. And finally, step 4 is sanitization. Once the system is completely clear of physical debris, an optional EPA-approved antimicrobial fogging is introduced into the airstream.
Now, what does EPA-approved fogging actually do? Is it just like an industrial air freshener?
Not at all. It is a highly specialized, non-toxic microcoating. The fog travels through the newly cleaned ductwork and coats the raw metal or fiberglass interior.
Oh, so it treats the surface.
Yes. It kills 99.9% of any lingering microscopic bacteria and creates an inhospitable environment that prevents future mold spores from taking root. It resets the biological baseline of the system to 0.
I really want to emphasize this for everyone listening because this exact high-level medical-grade process is exactly what our sponsor, Hurricane Group Cumming, provides.
They do it flawlessly.
They really do. Their operations are spearheaded by their lead specialist, Laron, who has over 15 years of experience specifically in environmental remediation and structural hygiene. They are fully ISCRC certified.
Which is huge. You don't want an uncertified team doing that.
Right. They aren't just showing up with a vacuum. They are bringing industrial-grade extraction equipment. And what's incredibly useful is that Hurricane Group specializes in comprehensive home care solutions. They look at the house as a whole system.
They treat the root causes, not just the symptoms.
Exactly. So it's not just air ducts. They also handle water damage restoration, dryer vent cleaning, and crawl space encapsulation to stop the moisture at the source before it ever reaches your attic. You can see their full range of services and read their hundreds of reviews at hurricanellc.com. That's hurricanellc.com.
Having an expert like Lauren overseeing the process is crucial because every home's duct architecture is entirely unique.
Right.
But once a system is completely restored, the plaque is removed, and the walls are sanitized, the conversation shifts to the ongoing reality for the homeowner. How do we maintain this baseline, and what is the actual return on investment?
Let's talk about that ROI. First, just from a pure maintenance schedule, how often should an Atlanta homeowner actually be paying to have this done?
Because of the high humidity and massive pollen counts in the Georgia climate, a professional deep clean is recommended every 3 to 5 years for a standard, healthy home.
Okay, 3 to 5 years.
However, the environment dictates the schedule. If you have multiple pets constantly shedding dander, or if anyone in the home suffers from asthma, severe allergies, or chronic respiratory issues, you really need to schedule this every 2 years.
Got it. Okay, so 2 to 5 years depending on the variables. But hiring a highly certified professional team with truck-mounted equipment isn't cheap. What is the financial return on doing this?
The financial return is heavily rooted in the physics we discussed earlier. Clean ducts can reduce a home's overall HVAC energy consumption by an average of 15 to 20%.
Wait, really? A 20% reduction in energy costs just from clearing the tubes?
Yes. Remember the clogged artery analogy. When you strip away a 1/4 inch of Georgia sludge from the walls, you dramatically increase the internal volume of the tube.
Ah, so there's less friction.
Exactly. The HVAC system no longer has to force air through a restricted passage. Because the airflow is smooth, the blower motor drops its amperage draw, meaning it physically uses less electricity to push the same amount of conditioned air into your living room.
So you're lowering your monthly power bill instantly.
And you're saving the machine itself. Because the motor isn't constantly straining, overheating, and fighting against that resistance, it prevents the internal components from burning out prematurely.
Which extends its life.
Significantly. Routine professional duct cleaning can potentially add 5 to 7 years to the overall lifespan of an HVAC system.
That is a massive financial insight. I mean, replacing an entire HVAC system, the furnace, the condenser, the coils, is easily a 5-figure expense.
Well, easily.
Spending a fraction of that every few years to protect a $10,000 piece of machinery is just incredibly smart home ownership.
It's preventive medicine for your house.
Exactly. But beyond the wallet, there is the health return. And honestly, reducing the strain on the machine is great, but reducing the strain on our bodies seems infinitely more important.
Without a doubt. The ultimate goal of property maintenance shouldn't just be preserving property. It should be creating a perfectly healthy living environment.
Right.
Clean ducts protect the most vulnerable people in the home, the elderly, young children with developing immune systems, and anyone with existing respiratory conditions. By removing the constant circulation of mold spores, VOCs, and allergens, you are actively protecting them from airborne diseases and chronic low-grade inflammation.
You're lowering the baseline of what their bodies have to fight off every day. You're essentially giving their immune systems a break.
Exactly. The air you breathe for 8 to 12 hours a day inside your home while you sleep and live is the foundation of your biological health. If your immune system is spending all night fighting off microscopic mold spores pumped from your ceiling,
it doesn't have the resources to fight off an actual virus you encounter the next day.
Precisely. You're starting the day at a disadvantage.
This has been an incredibly eye-opening deep dive. We went from wondering why the coffee table gets dusty so fast to understanding the thermodynamics of condensation, the biology of mold growth, and the physics of negative pressure extraction.
There's a lot of science hidden behind your drywall.
It really is.
Yes.
So if you are listening to this and you are experiencing any of the warning signs we discussed today, that excessive rapid dust buildup, the indoor allergies that magically disappear when you leave the house, the weak airflow from your vents, or that damp, musty smell, do not wait for your HVAC system's blower motor to burn out. And definitely do not wait for allergy season to hit its peak.
Be proactive.
Yes. Take control of your indoor environment. Consider scheduling a professional inspection immediately.
And ensure you're using certified professionals who understand the science of negative pressure and true source removal. You cannot cut corners with structural hygiene.
Absolutely. And to that end, we want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor who made today's deep dive possible. Hurricane Group Cumming is Atlanta's leading specialist in HVAC hygiene and property restoration.
Highly recommend them.
They provide ICRC certified solutions for air duct cleaning, water damage emergency response, and high-end home renovations. If you are ready to stop breathing contaminated air and drastically improve your home's efficiency, you can call them directly at 404-999-1605.
Let me guess, you've got their address too.
You know I do. If you want to visit their office or send them mail, they're located at 110 Samaritan Dr. 212 office, #2, Cumming, GA3004. You can easily find them on Google Maps by visiting https://maps.app.goo.gl/ IDHI2K8Z QM7F9SY08, or simply visit their website at hurricanelc.com. And seriously, don't just take our word for it. Go look at their over 800 five-star reviews. They are the real deal when it comes to protecting your home.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a completely different way to look at their house. Think about the field of building science for a second.
Okay.
Modern homes are being built to be incredibly energy efficient. They're hyper-insulated and sealed airtight to prevent air conditioning from escaping. But because our homes are sealed so tight, they no longer breathe fresh air through the cracks the way old drafty houses used to.
Oh, wow. So whatever air is trapped inside is the only air we get.
Precisely. Think about the concept of indoor air age. Every time you take a breath in your home, how many times has that exact same molecule of air been cycled through a dark, dusty, moldy tunnel before it reached your lungs?
That is a very unsettling thought.
It is. In a modern airtight house, the HVAC system is your literal life support system. It is the only lung your house has. You filter your drinking water, isn't it time you stop drinking dirty air?
Yeah.
If you are going to seal a house that tight to save on energy, you better make absolutely sure those lungs are clean.